I don't want to do any of this. We blew it. We missed it. It's over, and we got to stop, and I'm ready to stop. I'm finished with the best shape of my life. In 2017, I was on the jury at the Cannes Film Festival. It was day 5, and we'd already watched 14 movies. With one more movie to watch before dinner, I needed a beat to be quiet and reset. I had 30 minutes to hit the gym before rejoining the jury. I had told myself that this was my time, for me, and I had promised myself that I would not allow anyone to infringe on it. Midway through my second set, a 30-something black dude with a British accent entered and immediately noticed me. He whipped out his phone as he approached. "Hey, Will," he said, "say hi to my cousin." I reached up, putting my hand over the lens of his camera and pushed it down. "Hey, sorry, man," I said. "I'm training right now." "Oh, it's just a quick video, Will," he said. "My cousin has Down syndrome. He loves you. I promise it'll be quick. The Fresh Prince is the only thing that makes him smile." "I'm sorry, man," I said, "but no." He looked at me with such disbelief. "But why not, Will?" I paused. I searched for the deepest, most honest answer, because I don't want to. The man shook his head in disgust, turned, and left the gym. I knew I had done right by myself, but I hated that someone else, an innocent, had gotten caught in the crossfire of my internal war. I went back to my room and could not stop crying.
Are you ready, Jazz?
Yeah. Test.
I'm with it, let's get it. So Dex is here now. Dex and Jazz. And just so everybody knows, I'm saying it officially. I know this one's me. This is for my book. I'm at a calorie deficit and I'm in here crying every day writing the book, right? So I might not all the way be myself right now.
What is the deal over the next 8 weeks, though? So is it to
So this is the
shoot and
Yeah, no, we're not gonna worry about that. I'm gonna put some regular clothes on.
Yeah,
Okay.
we'll
Just put some pants on.
So Will let us in and has agreed to shoot, but some executives here from the production company. So I guess we'll see how this plays out.
When you're trying to drop weight and you're trying to be at a deficit and you're trying to write your memoir at the same time, it's everything you have.
Yeah.
Right? And a deadline, right? I'm doing something that's important to me right now. Leave me alone. I want to make art and I want to create. Like, don't tell me about the schedule. I don't want the show or something. Like, that mindset is disruptive to me in the creative process.
The journey itself of my actual transformation and the show have somehow gotten out of sync.
I think any time that you're embarking on a journey of this sort, it's about transformation, right?
Yeah.
It's like I lost my guys a little bit. And they became company men.
I think when we talked, I feel like we talked on December 26th or whatever, you thought the show will keep me accountable for the journey.
Right, yeah. It's like, I'm not trying to make a show. I'm trying to do what I'm doing, shoot it, and you make a show. Right?
Yep.
Right?
The budget, the deadline, they'll get what we give them.
Will is really, in a very real way, committing to the idea that he cannot sacrifice his mental health in the name of these other sorts of journeys that he wants to go on. Because let me tell you, on mental health, there's not as many second chances.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 weeks.
16 weeks, right. So that's supposed to be roughly 205. I'm not gonna be 205.
No, you're not.
And the thing that I'm trying to do also is to not tap into my old mindset, because I can do anything when I, tap into that soldier.
Right, so it's
Right.
not about the
Yeah.
harsh energy. It's
Your harsh,
more about...
a more sustainable mindset.
Two or 5.4, that one said, right?
Yeah, it was two. So it
We
was.
can go
We're
with
gonna
the
take the.
0.3.
We're going with the. We'll go with the 205.4. Give me a little cushion for next week.
Okay.
Hey, Will, reminder, we never got those chapters over to the publishers last week. Call me back when you get a sec.
There's a funny thing with deadlines, right? So artists need deadlines and need budgetary confines to get jammed into the work. Like, I needed the deadline to be looming in order to force me to dive into those areas of myself that I've been avoiding for my whole life, basically. So in the book, I have a real button on people getting lost in their emotions. I hate it. Like, it signals destruction to me, right? Somebody is, freaking out. And even Daddy-O would crack us for that shit growing up. Oh my God, Dad, is it? Yeah. We were raised at base survival.
Yeah. Even when we weren't.
Right.
Even when it wasn't.
Yeah.
Survival, the mentality.
The mentality was base survival. So this is the pivot point, right? And I can't even think about the damn thing without being like, nah. But it's the center of every difficulty of my adult life. We all delude ourselves a little bit around the things that scare us. We invent these stories to protect ourselves. Sometimes we'd rather blindfold ourselves than take a cold, hard look at the world exactly as it is. My first impulse is always to clean up the truth in my mind. I redesign it and replace it with whatever suits me, or really whatever suits you. I'm a crowd pleaser. I'm a master storyteller. I thought about showing you the flawless diamond, a swaggy, unbreakable winner, a fantasy image of a successful human being. The truth is whatever I decide to make you believe, and I will make you believe it. That's what I do. Of course, there's the red carpet walking, tight fade wearing, box office record breaking, I am legend, pull up doing, jiggy ass Will Smith. And then there's me. This book is about me. Act 1, Chapter 1, Fear. Daddy-O was one of the greatest blessings of my life and also one of my greatest sources of pain. There were two issues. First, he had a brutal temper. And second, his drinking. When he was angry or drunk, he became an idiot. He would break his own rules, subvert his own objectives, destroy his own things. My mom is in many ways the total opposite of my father. Whereas Daddy-O was the boisterous, charismatic center of attention, my mom carried a quiet, reserved elegance. She loved words and always chose them carefully. My mother spoke with an academic sophistication. As much as we all suffered under Daddy-O's militaristic views of love and family, nobody suffered more than my mother. Each of my siblings remembers that night in the bedroom. With me standing there in the doorway, I watched my father punch my mother so hard that she spit up blood. That moment, probably more than any other moment in my life, has defined who I am today. Each of my siblings responded differently in ways that would go on to define who we were for much of our lives. If Harry was fight, Ellen was flight, and I became a pleaser. I wanted to please and placate him because as long as Daddy-O was laughing and smiling, I believed we would be safe. I was the entertainer in the family. I wanted to keep everything light and fun and joyful. And while this psychological response would later bear artistic and financial fruits, it also meant that my little 9-year-old brain processed Daddy-O's abusive episodes as somehow being my fault. I should have been able to keep my father satisfied. I should have been able to protect my mother. I should have been able to make the family stable and happy. I should have been able to make everything all right. But that night in the bedroom, watching my father's fists collide with the woman I loved most in the world, watching as she collapsed on the ground, helpless, I just stood there. I was my mom's oldest son. I was less than 10 yards away, and I was the only chance she had for help. Yet I did nothing. It was then that my young identity congealed in my mind, an unshakable feeling that no matter what I have done, no matter how successful I've become, no matter how much money I've made or how many #1 hits I've had, how many box office records I've broken, there's that subtle and silent feeling always pulsating in the back of my mind that I'm a coward, that I've failed, that I'm sorry, my mom, so sorry.
Okay. Sure. Oh, thanks. Exactly. I didn't know what to wear on the shirt. No.
So everyone has met my mom. So my mom, I read her the chapter for the first time yesterday. Yeah, so we, and she still agreed to come sit with us. No, but
if I must.
If you, yeah.
Did you feel like you had an option as to whether to be there or to choose to leave?
I said, no, I'm not going to do this with my children there. No, this is, I'm not going to make them more upset with me screaming and hollering.
One of the things you said that was really strong, too, you said part of the reason that you were standing up to Daddy is because you knew your kids were...
Yeah, yes.
You knew your kids could hear, and you knew your kids could see.
Yes.
And she wanted us to think he wasn't hurting her.
Yeah. Maybe had I been more submissive, things may have been different. And I grit my teeth and buckle down. My children aren't going to be more rattled because I'm rattled.
That's so powerful. Simultaneously, you were teaching him that that's not how you treat a woman.
That was the only time in my life that I ever considered suicide.
Yes.
That was the only time in my life that I ever thought about killing myself because it was all my failure in my mind. You know, the whole idea of me thinking of myself as a coward was new for her. You know, it's like we've never talked about it. The idea that I felt like I should have done something was so, you know, foreign. You know, so she reassured little Will that there was nothing that he could have done.
I never thought he was a coward.
Of course. Yeah, you seem to take on responsibility for stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is a way of maintaining control, even if it's a dire, dark narrative. And I think that all of that responsibility taking is a way of controlling something you did throughout your career.
It was probably like a trauma reaction.
He watched his mother be physically abused. There was this real sense of fear. His father held the family in sort of the throes of fear, so everybody would sort of snap to it. In order for a child to survive that, they better have a rich imaginary world. So he got to take his imaginary world, the place he worked stuff through, and turned it into entertainment.
I was always intrigued with my mind, and very young, I knew I could feel how I wanted to feel, right? I had spent enough time in my mind, you know, that I knew I could ignore things, I could concentrate on other things, I could paint pictures. Like, I knew that I could get to a smile. It didn't matter what was going on. I could contort my mind to find a smile.
Will quitting the show may look like a failure to a lot of people, but there's actually another way to look at it, as a breakthrough. Perhaps for the first time, Will is choosing himself. He's not hiding behind humor or control or the idea of winning. Instead, he's giving himself space to process and deal with his past.
Clear your ears, no problems. We'll just swim a nice slow descent, is that okay?
Chapter 16, Purpose. I asked myself, if you could snap your fingers and have any life you wanted, what would it look like? This question led me into an area of my inner world that had danger signs all over it. The answer would have to be extracted from the murky, swampy shadow regions of my psyche. What if I ripped down all the boards and barriers and barricades, and whatever demon is in there takes over? What if I can't put it back? What if I like it being out?
Would you like to go a little deeper?
But I approached the dark place. I wanted to see what was in there. What are Will's feelings, Will's opinions, Will's needs, Will's ideas? Who are you really?
Okay?